Going through the top tens of 2024. Well, now we're looking at third party. And as much as I like third party, as much as I adore a lot of the companies in third party, I just don't personally buy a lot of third party. And that really is a cost thing. I know you could break down, well, look how many Hasbro things you buy. If you're willing to buy less, you could buy things from New Age. And, I understand that logic. It's just, for me personally, I like a lot of third party. It's just not available enough for me to want to snap it up. If I had a store nearby that maybe got third party in more often, that'd be a different story. But I do enjoy a lot of the companies out there. Maketoys, Mastermind Creations, Ironfactory, New Age. I sing their praises constantly. And these are the third party figures I was able to get this past year. Now, I could technically do a top 10. But when you look at it, this top 10 would have to include 6 Seekers, 3 of the Ironfactory variety, and 3 of the Maketoys variety. So we're going to do the top 10 third-party Transformers figures I got in 2024. Not a definitive list, not a overlook of all of third-party in the year. This is just third-party toys I got this past 12 months. Starting off with a senior member of third party, really, this is the Fans Project Smart Robin. This would have been one of the first options for a new brainstorm there ever was. A third-party version of my favorite Headmaster, one of my favorite characters in all of Transformers. And even though this really isn't a brainstorm I would go for stylistically, I always prefer his IDW designs, I do think this is a really nice reinvention of the G1 look. Like, if you were to look at the Headmasters anime and just want to do your own spin, I see how you get to this brainstorm, and I like his general aesthetic. I like the blockiness. His articulation is just to die for. His jet mode is incredibly nice, and he has a working Headmaster. However, I'm not going to mess with it that much because Fans Project Headmasters are known to shatter, so I am not going to risk messing up a brainstorm. I still am really happy to have this guy in my collection. Kind of a last-second addition to the collection this year. I just found him a week or so ago. But I am happy to have him, because it means I now own, 4 brainstorms. Maybe one day I can own 5, and then we'll do a top 5 favorite brainstorm figures. Who knows? At number 4, it's the Maketoys Slipstream. Now, out of the Maketoys Seekers I got this year, this was the one that gave me the most issues. I couldn't even finish transforming it due to mold degradation, and of course, the thumb snapped off. But it's still a really nice Slipstream. I'm still such a sucker for this character and was so happy to see any type of masterpiece love for Slipstream that I'm happy to have her in my collection. I think it's cool that they gave you the option to use Ramjet's blasters to make her more different from Skywarp and Thundercracker, and the colors are just to die for. Like, that's the thing, even if the toy's not great, Slipstream's color scheme is so good that if you apply it right, you can take a so-so toy and make it so amazing on a shelf or for a display. And I think that's the strength of this particular masterpiece figure. The look is so awesome, the aesthetics are so great, that I really don't need much past that. I would have loved if it was more articulated, I would have loved if the mold had held up better, I would have loved if the joints felt better in hand, but I'm not going to complain because it's just a good looking figure. And it completed off my Masterpiece Seeker trio. I'm not going to get any more Masterpiece Seekers ever again, unless, I don't know, someone gifts me one maybe, or if they did the camo Acid Storm, because I know that Maketoys has done normal lime green Acid Storm. If they did camo Acid Storm, I might pick that up. But unless that happens, I'm going to stick to my 3, and I'm very happy with it. Going from the roughest experience I had with the Maketoys Seeker to the best experience I had, Skycrow still feels amazing. His joints are all perfect, the transformation's very fun, and it works. Whereas Lightning and Slipstream both had some QC issues, I had absolutely no problem with my Skycrow. And past that, this is possibly my favorite Skywarp. It's definitely high up there. It's between him and then my classic Skywarp. But I think it was my best experience with a Masterpiece Seeker. I think it's my best experience with a Masterpiece third party alike, not counting things put out by Mastermind Creations, because Mastermind Creations is just the god king of third party in my opinion. I adore the Skywarp. I think it's the best looking of my Seekers. I think it's the best playing of my Seekers. It's the one that I still pull down and transform every so often because it is a good transformation scheme, and I like the purple here. I think I would have preferred a darker purple, but having the lilac is nice. And they did do an earlier version of this figure that uses the darker purple, if that's what you're into. The reason I got this guy is because I got him for a really good deal alongside his buddy Lightning, and I just realized this. This is the first time on a list that both a Skywarp and a Thundercracker would have been eligible, and Skywarp made it on without Thundercracker. There isn't another Seeker on this list, just to be clear. So, for once, it seems as though Skywarp actually won out between who's my favorite of the duo. Going from the largest figure on the list to the smallest, it's my Ironfactory Sonic Wave. The only Ironfactory I currently have in my collection. And it makes me want to have more Ironfactory. I just adore everything about this Sonic Wave. I love the proportions, I love the articulation, and specifically, I love how great all the joints feel. Ironfactory know how to make an amazing figure, and the thing I like most about them is that they go for their own aesthetics and designs. Yeah, New Age is really cool, yes, Magic Square is really cool, but they're just the G1 designs. The reason I like Mastermind Creations, the reason I like Planet X, and the reason I like Ironfactory is they do their own thing. Yeah, there's IDW in there, yes, there's War for Cybertron in there, but they're also willing to experiment, do their own versions of characters, make their own designs. That's what I'm interested in from third party. I want to see things that there is no conceivable way Hasbro or Takara would make it, right? Masterpiece Seekers? Masterpiece has done the Seekers. Sure, they might not be to your liking, but they've done the Seekers. Or, if you want to look at it like Brainstorm, right? Well, a Chug-style Brainstorm, there's quite a few versions of him out there. But things like this, where it's very specific designs made by an artist who is not affiliated with Hasbro, and as a result, it gets to be such a unique play experience, that's what I like in third party. And there's some part of me that still likes to think that maybe someday a lot of these third-party companies will kind of move away from Transformers. Maybe just start doing their own thing. I mean, some of them already have. Look at Action Toys. Look at, what is it? I can't remember what it's called right now. I'll put a picture of it when I'm talking about it. But that was part of the Mastermind Creations team working on that. And Ironfactory supposedly might also be doing some non-transforming stuff out there. That's what I enjoy seeing. I would love for one day transforming robot to not just be Transformers, but to effectively be its own genre of toy. And I think that's a path that we could very much get on if we could just get past the weird G1 obsession. But until that happens, I'll take what I can get, and I very much like my Sonic Wave. That just leaves not only my favorite third-party Transformer of the year, but also my favorite experience I've ever had with third-party, my favorite toy of Galvatron in my collection, and the figure that I think really made me see the beauty of third-party, and a company that I had long respected but had never truly engaged with. I'm talking about the Mastermind Creations / Ocular Max Eris Lunikite, their version of Galvatron with their Eris character. Never in all of Transformers have I seen a toy so organic and posing while still having a great transformation and a very solid tank mode. And yes, I know that there's plenty of people who will make jokes, it is the Rule 63 Galvatron, but that doesn't matter. What I see here is not third-party Galvatron. This is a character inspired by Galvatron, sure, but it's its own design, its own character, and it's amazing. And I'm going to say it now, I prefer this to any design, any toy of Galvatron I have ever interacted with. And I've interacted with quite a few. I've dealt with the Fans Toys Sovereign. I've dealt with the not Mastermind Creations, but the Ironfactory Galvatron. I've dealt with the New Age version of Galvatron. All the official Galvatrons. None of them measure up to this Galvatron. Lunikite is one of my absolute favorite figures in my entire collection. If there ever came a time in which I had to pare myself down to maybe 10 or 15 figures, there's a good chance Lunikite would stay around. I think that she is my absolute favorite third-party figure, one of my absolute favorite figures in my collection, and one that I'm so excited to see more from. I have more interest in Mastermind Creations now, and I'll be honest, if I'm able to maybe get a little bit more money this upcoming year, there's quite a few Mastermind Creations figures I'd like to pick up, entirely because they have won me over. I've seen how good this Lunakite is, so I know the hype is real, I know that their pedigree is more than well earned, and I'm excited to get more from them. There is not a single question in my head who my favorite companies in third party are. It's Ironfactory and Mastermind Creations. And I'll be honest, as much as I still like modern toys, and I still enjoy a lot of the modern Transformers, I find myself more interested in some of these guys than I am necessarily interested in a lot of the Hasbro Transformers. And a lot of that's just because I have a lot of the same characters coming in, whereas at least Ironfactory and Mastermind Creations do their own characters, their own takes on characters. I think there's a very real chance that as time goes on, you might see more third-party toys on the channel. I don't know if that's going to become common, but I would like it to become common. I would like to look more into these two companies because I think they're just absolutely spectacular. And in terms of a company like Mastermind Creations, I am so happy that they're still around. And they're still doing these amazing toys. I think that they have been a Cadillac of Transformers design and Transformers engineering for over a decade now. Ironfactory very much in the same boat. And I'm happy they're still kicking. And I hope they're still kicking for a long time because just look at these two, man. Absolute class.